Breaking news. Ukraine's Nemesis Brigade wipes out Russian rocket systems. It is February 10, 2026, and reports are just flooding in that a specialized Ukrainian unit has, well, they've just pulled off the impossible. We're talking about dismantling Russia's most advanced and most expensive air defenses in a single week. The kill zone has expanded, and honestly, nothing on the ground is safe anymore. If you support Ukraine, freedom, and justice, just take a second right now. Subscribe to Defense Reports. It's your go-to source for timely, in-depth military and defense reports. Join me in the latest program by Defense Report for the latest in global defense news, military technology, and strategic developments. And today we're going to cover the rise of the 412th Nemesis Brigade, their destruction of the S-350 Vityaz, and the absolutely terrifying efficiency of the Baba Yaga drones. Okay, so let's unpack this. We have a massive stack of reports to get through today, and I mean, the numbers we're looking at they're difficult to wrap your head around. We were looking at a fundamental shift in the air war that really kicked off in January 2026. While the ground war is this grueling, muddy stalemate, something just snapped in the air war, we're talking about a unit that started as a battalion and is now evolved into a brigade that is systematically, blinding the Russian army.
It really is a fascinating evolution. And we're focusing on this one unit, the 412th Separate Unmanned Systems Brigade, known as Nemesis. And Nemesis is absolutely the right name because they have effectively inverted the entire economics of modern warfare. If you just look at the reports from 1 week in January, just 7 days, this unit destroyed somewhere between $250 and $300 million worth of Russian equipment. That is just a staggering return on investment when you think about the tools they're using.
Oh, wait, hold on. Let me just stop you there. $300 million.
Yeah.
In a week. That sounds like a typo. Or, propaganda inflation. Are we talking about verified equipment here? Because usually when we hear losses, it's a mix of trucks, old tanks, maybe a few ammo dumps. To hit that number, they'd have to be destroying, gold-plated tanks.
No, this is the real deal. And the math, it absolutely holds up. We are not talking about T-62s from the 1970s rusting in a field. These are what we call trophy targets. And the crown jewel of all this destruction was the S-350 Vityaz.
I've seen that name popping up in the channels. For the listener who isn't, memorizing NATO designators at 2 in the morning, why does the S-350 matter so much? Why is it a trophy?
So think of the S-350 as the modern bodyguard for the Russian army. It was designed specifically to replace the older Buck systems, which have been getting hammered. It's highly mobile, it's medium range, and it's incredibly expensive. It's supposed to be the shield that stops exactly what Ukraine is doing. But on January 1st, 2026, the Asgard Battalion, that's the elite strike wing of the Nemesis Brigade, they didn't just hit a launcher, they hunted down the 50N6E radar.
The 50N6E? That sounds like a license plate, but I'm guessing it's the spinning thing on top.
Well, on modern systems like this, it's a phased array, so it doesn't really spin like in old World War II movies, but yes, it's the brain. That single radar vehicle costs about $130 million. Alone. It can track 100 targets at once, missiles, jets, drones, you name it. It manages the entire battery. See, if you blow up a launcher, the battery can still fight with the others, but if you blow up the radar...
So the whole system is just lobotomized.
Exactly. It's just a collection of expensive trucks parked in a field. They're blind.
So they took out the brain. That explains a huge chunk of that 300 million figure right there.
A huge chunk. And what's so fascinating here is the coordination. This wasn't just a lucky potshot where a drone stumbled upon something. On New Year's Eve and New Year's Day, the Nemesis operators pull off what analysts are calling a hat trick.
Yeah.
In the Huliai-Pol and Orikhiv sectors, which are very hot zones, they destroyed a Tor M2, a Buck M3, and that S-350 radar we just mentioned. All of them. Within a single hour.
Wait. A Tor, a Buck, and an S-350. That's a layered air defense network.
Yeah.
Those systems are designed to protect each other. The Tor protects the Buck covers the medium range. How do you just dismantle an integrated network in 60 minutes? That sounds like they shut down the entire grid.
You overwhelm it, or you blind it, and you use speed. It implies a level of intelligence gathering that is frankly terrifying for the Russian operators. The Ukrainians knew exactly where these assets were, and they timed the strikes so that no system could cover the other one. And this brings us to the economic asymmetry. This is the key takeaway for this deep dive. Let's do the math. A fully loaded, heavy bomber drone, even the high-end ones with thermal optics, it costs maybe, $25,000?
Okay, so the price of a decent used car.
Exactly. Now compare that to the S-350 radar at $130 million. The Buck M3 is around $100 million. We are looking at an attrition ratio of roughly 5,000 to 1. Even if Ukraine loses 50 drones to get that one radar, they are winning the economic war by a landslide. There is simply no way the Russian military-industrial complex, even with sanctions evasion running factories 24/7, can replace these high-tech radars as fast as Ukraine can 3D print drone parts.
It's like throwing iPhones at a supercomputer until the supercomputer breaks. You can afford to lose a lot of iPhones. But let's talk about the thing doing the destroying. The Russians have given it a nickname that sounds like something out of a horror movie, Baba Yaga.
Right, named after the witch from Slavic folklore. In the stories, she flies around in a giant mortar and, eats children. The name really reflects the genuine psychological terror these things induce. The Baba Yaga isn't one specific brand from one factory. It's more of a class of heavy, multi-rotor drones, usually hexacopters or octocopters.
So these aren't the little buzzing toys you buy at Best Buy to film your vacation.
Not at all, no. These are industrial beasts. They're loud, they're large, and they carry a payload of 12 to 15 kilograms. That's enough for multiple anti-tank mines or some very specialized warheads. And like the name suggests, they hunt at night.
Which explains the witch part. But here's the thing I don't get, and I feel like this is the piece of the puzzle everyone just glosses over. Russia has been bragging about their electronic warfare, their EW capabilities, for years. They have these huge jammers, systems like the Zytel, that are supposed to just drop drones out of the sky like flies. So why aren't these Baba Yagas falling? How are they flying casually over a $130 million radar without getting jammed?
That is the billion-dollar question, isn't it? And the answer is connectivity. These drones are equipped with Starlink terminals.
Starlink. So they literally have high-speed satellite internet strapped to the drone.
Essentially, yes. And here's the quick technical reason why that matters so much. Traditional jamming works by flooding the radio frequencies, usually 2.4 or 5.8 gigahertz from a ground station. It creates this wall of noise so the drone can't hear the pilot's commands. It's like trying to have a conversation in a loud nightclub. Eventually, you just give up. But Starlink uses a very directional beam pointing up to a satellite.
So the Russian jammer is shouting horizontally across the ground.
And the drone is listening vertically to space. The signal-to-noise ratio is it's all in favor of the satellite. It makes them highly resistant, I wouldn't say immune, but very resistant to standard EW. And this allows Nemesis operators to fly deep, deep behind enemy lines. We're seeing strikes 20, even 60 kilometers, Dick.
60 kilometers. That's not the front line anymore. That's logistics hubs. That's command centers. That's where the generals sleep.
Exactly. And the tactical evolution is even more interesting. They've started using the Baba Yaga as a mothership.
A mothership. Okay, now we really are in sci-fi territory. How does that work?
It's a very practical solution to a range problem. So the heavy drone flies deep into the gray zone. That's the area where radio signals usually drop out because of distance or terrain. It carries smaller, faster FPV drones, first-person view drones, and it acts as a signal repeater. So the pilot sits safely back in a bunker, bounces the signal up to the Baba Yaga high in the air, and the Baba Yaga then bounces it down to the little kamikaze drone.
So it extends the arm of the operator. That's brilliant.
Precisely. It allows those small, cheap suicide drones to hit targets that were, previously completely out of reach. And works for logistics, too. If you have an infantry squad cut off in a trench, totally surrounded by fire, the Baba Yaga can drop 12 kilograms of food, water, and ammo right on their heads. It's Amazon Prime for the apocalypse.
That versatility is just incredible. It's a bomber, a repeater, and a cargo plane. But I want to pivot to a specific story from the source material that came out just a few days ago, on February 6th. We talked about them hitting stationary radars, which is impressive enough, but now they are hunting things that move. And I mean things that move fast.
This is a significant leap in operator skill. We're talking about the destruction of a Russian BM-21 Grad.
The Grad. That's the truck with the big rack of 40 rocket tubes on the back. The organ of Stalin.
Yes, a classic weapon. And the Grad's main defense is a tactic they call shoot and scoot. They drive to a firing position, unleash 40 rockets in 20 seconds, and then they floor it. They want to be gone before counter-battery radar can even track the trajectory of the rockets to fire back. Hitting one is usually a matter of luck, or maybe having a plane already in the air.
But the Nemesis operators didn't rely on luck, did they?
No. They tracked it in the Luhansk region. The Grad was moving at high speed down a road trying to escape after a barrage. Now, just imagine piloting a drone at, say, 100 kilometers an hour. You're dealing with wind, you're dealing with video latency, that split-second delay, and you are trying to hit a moving truck that is swerving. The operator actually led the target, aimed ahead of it, and struck the cockpit area while it was driving.
That's not just technology. That is pure skill. That's like video game grandmaster level, but with high explosives.
It sends a clear message. Mobility is no longer a defense. If you can't run away, you're dead. But there was another strike in early 2026 that I think is even more consequential strategically, and that's the destruction of the TOS-1A Sansepioc.
Oh, the heavy flamethrower.
Yeah.
I hate reading about that thing. It just sounds absolutely horrific.
Everyone hates it. It's a nightmare weapon. It fires thermobaric rockets, what people often call vacuum bombs. When they detonate, they create this massive pressure wave and a heat spike that literally sucks the oxygen out of the air. It collapses lungs. It pulls the air right out of bunkers. It is designed to kill people who are hiding in fortifications.
A war crime on tracks.
Yeah.
But it's built on a tank chassis, right? It's tough. You can't just knock it out with a hand grenade.
It's armored, but it has a fatal flaw. Its range is short, only about 6 kilometers, so to use it, the Russians have to drive it right into the kill zone. Nemesis drones, coordinating with the territorial defense, caught one.
And I'm guessing when a thermobaric launcher gets hit, it doesn't just smoke.
No, it was catastrophic. The drone hit the launcher rack, the ammo cooked off. The explosion didn't just destroy the $15 million system, it likely vaporized everything within a 100-meter radius. Every time they destroy a TOS-1A, they are saving hundreds of Ukrainian infantry lives. It removes a tool of pure terror from the battlefield.
It's amazing to see how this unit, the 412th, has grown. We keep saying Nemesis, but they seem to have a very specific identity. I mean, who are these guys? Is this just a random collection of drone pilots?
No, not at all. Their identity is very specific, and their growth has been, well, explosive. They started as just a battalion in December 2023. By December 2024, they were a regiment. And as of November 2025, they were a full brigade. That rapid expansion just mirrors the importance of drone warfare in Ukrainian doctrine. But you mentioned identity. They have a very strong cultural connection to Armenia.
Right. The name Nemesis isn't random.
No. It's named after the historical Operation Nemesis, which was a covert operation by Armenians back in the 1920s to punish the perpetrators of the Armenian genocide. The brigade commander is known as Hovnen Druid, and there's a strong core of ethnic Armenians in the unit.
That adds such a heavy layer of historical context to this. It's not just about defending land.
It really does. They see this war as a fight against imperialism.
Yeah.
They link the struggle of Ukraine directly to the historical struggles of the Armenian people against empires that tried to erase them. It's not just professional for them, it's deeply personal. They see themselves as an instrument of justice.
That motivation is powerful. And I understand they've integrated another famous group we've seen online.
Yes, the Asgard group. These are the elite FPV operators who post those incredible high-definition strike videos. They've been integrated into Nemesis. And here is where it gets really interesting for the future. The brigade is expanding its domain. They are no longer just an air unit.
What do you mean by that? They're getting tanks?
No, they're getting boats. Reports indicate they are receiving naval drones, specifically the Magura V5. This means the Nemesis Brigade is expanding from airstrikes to sea operations.
So they're going to be hunting the Black Sea Fleet as well.
Yeah.
That is, well, if I'm a Russian admiral, I'm absolutely terrified right now.
You should be. It signals a shift toward a multi-domain unmanned force. One unit that can strike you from the sky and from the sea, simultaneously.
Let's zoom out a bit. We're calling this the War of Robots. And the numbers, they really back that up. I saw a stat from the commander of the armed forces, Oleksandr Syrskyi, that in January 2026 alone, unmanned units eliminated something like 30,000 Russian troops.
That number is just staggering. 30,000 casualties in 1 month. To put that in context for you, that is more troops than Russia managed to recruit in that same month.
So they're running a deficit of human beings.
Exactly. It is a demographic disaster in the making for them. They're losing men faster than they can draft them. And the war of robots isn't just killing, it's saving lives too. We're seeing ground robots, UGVs, unmanned ground vehicles, like the Ratel-M.
The little rovers.
Huh.
Like Wall-E with a supply crate on its back.
A bit more rugged than Wall-E, but yes, basically. They're evacuating wounded soldiers and delivering supplies. So instead of risking 4 men to carry a stretcher under fire, you send a robot. It reduces the risk to human life for the Ukrainians while maximizing the risk for the Russians.
But surely Russia isn't just sitting there and taking it, right? I mean, they're massive military power. They have to be adapting. What's the counter move?
It's a constant game of cat and mouse. Russia has started using decoy drones, the Gerbera. These are made of foam and plywood.
Foam and plywood. Like hobby planes.
Exactly. They're cheap, they have no warhead, but they show up on radar. The goal is to force Ukrainian air defense to waste a $1 million missile shooting down a $50 piece of foam. It's a saturation tactic. It's smart, in a way. But on the individual soldier level, Well, we've seen the penguin phenomenon.
The penguins. Please tell me this is what I think it is.
It is bizarre, but it speaks to the desperation on the ground. Russian soldiers are buying these thermal blankets, these anti-drone ponchos, from online marketplaces. They throw them over themselves and walk around looking like little metallic penguins, thinking they are invisible to thermal cameras.
Yeah, are they?
Spoiler alert, they are not.
I figured as much.
Physics is a stubborn thing. The heat signature still leaks through, or even worse, the blanket reflects the cold sky so well that they show up as a black negative spot on the camera against the warmer ground. It creates a contrast. It's a desperate measure. But it shows you the level of fear. The kill zone, the area where you cannot move without being spotted, has expanded from 15 kilometers to 30 or even 50 kilometers.
That completely changes logistics. I mean, if you can't bring a truck within 50 kilometers of the front, how do you feed your troops? How do you bring up ammo?
You don't, or you do it at great, great cost. You use walkers, soldiers carrying backpacks, which is just inefficient and exhausting.
Yeah.
This deep strike capability by the Nemesis Brigade is effectively starving the front lines.
So to wrap this up for you, the listener, we are watching a fundamental change in warfare. The 412th Nemesis Brigade isn't just a unit. It's a proof of concept for the entire future of conflict. They are dismantling high-value targets, $130 million radars, using technology that costs less than a Honda Civic.
And they're doing it systematically. The shift from a battalion to a brigade shows that the Ukrainian command understands this is the winning formula. By integrating naval drones, they are projecting power far beyond the trenches. It's cost-effective, it's high-tech, and it is devastatingly effective.
It's the ultimate underdog story, powered by Starlink and just pure engineering genius. They are taking the old Soviet doctrine of quantity has a quality of its own and just dismantling it piece by piece with precision. You've been listening to Defense Report by Alex, where we analyze the latest in military strategy, global defense, and advanced weaponry. Before you go, here's something to think about. We know Nemesis Brigade is getting naval drones. If they can shut down air defense radars on land 60 kilometers deep, what happens when they start coordinating air and sea drones against the remaining Russian ships in the Black Sea? Can a fleet survive a swarm that comes from both the sky and the waves simultaneously? It's a scenario that naval commanders around the world are probably losing a lot of sleep over right now. Subscribe to Defense Reports, your trusted source for timely, in-depth military and defense analysis. We'll see you next time. Keep supporting us so we can continue bringing you the latest developments from Ukraine and around the world.